How do you say it? I just totally blank now.
You had it, Erik LaRay
Harvey.
That's it.
I was like, I know it was 3 names.
Yeah.
Erik LaRay Harvey, aka Diamondback, Luke Cage. How did you know, or when did you know about the role? Did you go after, or did they come after you?
No. I had no idea, about the role until they came to me, and said they had a project of mine, and they couldn't tell me who the character was. They thought the character would be an excellent fit. That I would be an excellent fit for the character, and then I found out that it was Diamondback, and then they said, yeah, but you don't come on until halfway through the season, so keep your mouth shut, until you start filming, and even after you start filming, keep your mouth shut until we actually air the show. So everything was a big surprise, but it's been wonderful.
So when you say keep your mouth shut, you had to sign an NDA?
I had to sign an NDA, and I think I had to wait, a couple of months because they had already started filming, till they needed me, and that was probably around end of November, beginning of December, and then we were off to the races. Yeah.
How much did you know about the character prior to playing him?
I didn't know too much, other than from the original comics that they were very close, and they used to run the streets together. And I think, as far as I know, that's pretty much the only truth of what we have today. We know they were really close, and we know they ran the streets together. What we didn't know until the show airs, is that they were actually brothers. And they come from the same father, and how much of the streets and why they ran the streets. So I think that's where the show gets interesting. Character-wise, and I had a lot of fun exploring that.
Did Chio want you to play him? How did he want you to play him as opposed to what you read, how he's described in the comics?
Right. Well, I totally stayed away from the comics because I didn't want it to influence, what we were doing in 2016. The comics are sort of dated, and I didn't want to get caught in a backstory and a history that we were no longer going for, or that applies to today. Once Cheo said that he was thinking about making them brothers, and they had the same father, and then the devastation that happens after that, I was immediately on board. I think people talk about Black Lives Matter, and does that really have an influence in this show? Intentionally, I don't think Cheo wrote it with Black Lives Matter in focus. I think he just wrote a story. But as we talk about the Black community, we see so many of their issues come up, and the paternal issue. How Black fathers have been there for their sons or not been there for their sons, or just that relationship between father and sons in the Black community. It's a huge issue. So as soon as he said that was the angle he was talking about or thinking about going, I mean, I have a father, and yeah. So.
Were you nervous at all to be coming in in the middle of the season after fans have already gotten acquainted with another villain, and then to kind of have the whole, even the tone of the show shifts from the Cottonmouth side to the Diamondback side?
Yes, I was aware of that to begin with. I mean, that was the whole twist that they wanted me to keep quiet about. They said they'd never done that before, where someone that's supposed to be the villain gets killed off halfway through the season. I think initially they wanted Diamondback to kill him, but then they changed it, which I think makes the story even stronger, to have his own cousin, his family. So, there's a lot of talk about family in this show, Diamondback and his father, and Ryan, and Misty and her cousin, getting raped. I mean, so, yeah, they knew about that twist, and they wanted to see if it would work. They hadn't seen it before in television, and so we'll see how it goes,
And now I think it's I know it's not confirmed, but I think it's almost a given that there'll be more Luke Cage. Where would you like to see Diamondback go in a potential second season now that fans do know him and know the background?
Wow, well, personally, I'm a big fan of love, so, I'm about, brothers, actually, resolving their differences. This is Marvel, this is a superhero show, this is sci-fi, there's got to be drama. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, it could be even, it's just a guess. Your guess is just as good as mine. They haven't told me anything. You know, the doctor's there. He can come out even worse than he was before, you know. But I think whatever it is going to be dramatic.
What's different about preparing for a role in the Marvel Universe?
All right. Well, the difficulty for me was taking something that's science fiction and bringing it down to a level of reality, you know, that brings some truth, you know, to you. That was my challenge with Diamondback, you know. What really inspired me with this character was the Terrell Owens story, you know. Here was a football player who, you know, was denied by his father, and his father actually lived down the street, you know, the same street, you know. And I was like, wow, you know. So just imagining, you know, just knowing that can happen, you know, that Diamondback's story can happen, you know, because it has happened. We see it today. That was a challenge, and then raising his level to the place where this is a man that's known generals of war, you know. He's a gun runner. He's an ex-con that couldn't get a job when he got out, but only through the underground, you know. And then has risen up in the ranks of the underground, where he's actually met generals of war and he's supplying, you know, war material to them, you know. So he's got a heightened state, you know. And then he's got this emotion. I mean, it's just like one thing on top of another, you know. And I'd never seen a character like that before, you know, ever played by a black man on TV. And so I just wanted to, you know, make sure that I didn't take this lightly, and that I actually heightened his existence, you know, to make it something different.
Okay.
How important is the backdrop of Harlem to Luke Cage?
Well, going back to the Black Lives Matter, you know, Harlem has always been a very historical place, you know, for black community. And I think having a place in Harlem makes the show very distinct, you know, very distinguished, you know. It brings about social issue of how it's changed, you know, because we are talking about a Harlem that sort of glorifies the Renaissance period, you know, but really isn't there anymore, you know. So the fact that, you know, it's in Harlem, it has to take place in Harlem, you know. We have a community of black people here, and we need to talk about their lives. And all the black characters in the show, all their lives matter. And their different issues and what they go through, you know, are pretty much ring true to, like, you know, what black people go through today, you know. So I think it's a very bold move, and I think Marvel pulled it off very beautifully.
So how was you able to bring the Harlem aspect of the Black Lives Matter into your own character to make it unique from how we've seen Diamondback in comics?
Yes. Well, like I said before, I was really, really intrigued by the paternal part of Diamondback's story, you know. I think if the show was called Diamondback, you know, they would have, like, you would have seen, I would have liked them to explore being the firstborn son to a minister, and then have him being denied, you know, illegitimized, and then thrown in jail by his own father, you know. And then the twist of being in jail, and well, the difference between Luke and Diamondback is Luke didn't have to kill anybody in jail. Diamondback did. That's probably the first person he's ever killed. And from that killing, and all the rest of the tortures he's been through in jail, he comes out a very twisted man, you know. He's no longer that sweet innocent. All innocence is gone, you know. He's gone to this place of just to survive, you know. He has to, like, forget that old guy and become this new thing, you know. And I say thing because, you know, it's really a sort of like psychotic sort of, you know, life that he's living, you know. But it all started with, you know, with the rearing. How do you raise your black kids? You know, we always talk about the cops and what the cops do to the black community. But let's talk about what the black community, what we do to ourselves, you know, how we raise our kids. And if you have a child that's been treated that way, then are you really surprised when he turns out to be like Diamondback? Really, you know? And that's not society's fault. That was, it was his dad's fault. So a lot of people are saying, oh, he's got daddy issues. Well, we all have daddy issues, you know. I don't know one man, and it's not really just a black issue, but it's, you know, it's a universal issue. You know, they say fathers and sons is the strongest bond, you know, and mothers and daughters are the strongest, you know, bonds, and the same sex, you know, parent is the strongest bonds. So if something like that exists in that bond, he's screwed to begin with.
You had mentioned, we talked about the character and what you knew about Diamondback, but what about Luke Cage? Growing up, did you know a lot about Luke Cage as opposed to the other comic characters?
Yeah. Oh, you mean me personally?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I grew up overseas. So the comics I read, first of all, I didn't see any black comics, you know, growing up. I was in a diplomatic environment, you know, so the comics I read were like Tintin and Asterix and Obelix and Richie Rich, and, you know, things like that. They were all, you know, white characters, you know. So that's what I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about now? Obviously, prior to Luke Cage, we've had this explosion of Marvel characters on the screen.
Yeah.
And before you even knew that they were going to make a Luke Cage series, you know, who did you prefer? Who would you have wanted to see, you know, or wanted to play if you're given the choice?
I never thought about it, you know, to be honest. You know, being in my field, you know, you can't say, okay, I'm going to do this, because it never works out that way. You know, you can just only hope that you're given an opportunity to work. So, you know, when this came across, it was like, you know, it was a blessing, you know, to be involved in the Marvel universe. Marvel is just so fantastic at science fiction, you know. Anything and everything could possibly exist, you know. So, when I knew that they were doing a show about a black superhero and his community, you know, I was like, and I don't think it's ever been done on television before, you know. I think this is the first one ever. They could have asked me to be like the trash man that drove him, you know, when he got shot. I would have been like, yeah, I will do it, because I just wanted to be a part of the show, you know, so bad.
During the shooting and production, there were photos. People had got an idea who you were going to play because there were photos of you shooting during production outside with, you know, with the outfit and so forth. How was it putting on that suit? Was it heavy or so, or?
No. They sent me to LA, and they, you know, had the body form, and and then they made the suit, you know, to my exact dimensions. So it you know, it fit wonderfully. I was really excited about getting that suit. From day one, I knew that Diamondback was going to be transformed into the suit at the end. So I was just like, just let me make it to, you know, episode 13. Just let me make it to episode 13. I want to get that suit. I don't think there's ever been, well, I didn't know too many Marvel villains that had their own suit, you know. And I thought it was really interesting that the show didn't give the suit to the hero, but they gave it to the villain, you know. So it was just a double honor, and you know, I was just proud to put it on. And I knew it was only going to last for one episode, you know, because now the suit's dead, you know. He cracked it, you know, when he like knocked me the fuck out. So you know, so where do we go from here? Like, that's a big question, and you know, I'm sure he'll morph into something else. I don't think he can come back as Diamondback per se with the suit. His name might be Diamondback, but he won't have that suit anymore.
How influential, how crucial is hip hop to this show?
Hip hop is part of our community. It's always been a part of our community. You know, if it wasn't hip hop before, it was, you know, some other musical form. Music has always just been a huge part of our community. I think the score with this show is incredible. You know. I know, like, when I make my first entrance, they have that music. I'm like, whoa, you know. It just makes, it just sends the emotional vibe, you know, along with the characters, you know, or the scenes that you're witnessing. So, hip hop, you know, has played an important part. Jazz, all musical forms, you know, that we've known and we've yet to create. You know, it's just which rings true to the black community, which rings true to being in Harlem, which rings true, you know. I don't think it was an effort, you know, a poignant effort, you know. The music's got to be great. We don't give a fuck what you act like, you know. It's just like, no, it's just a part of it.
Right.
It's all a collaboration. It's a character in the show, just like, you know, the actors are, just like the scenery is, just like the cinematography is, you know. I looked at it and just taking my character out, and I was just like, this show's amazing. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's such beauty.
Any chance Diamondback appears in The Defenders?
I haven't heard anything. They haven't told me anything. Hey, he's a gun runner, you know. There are guns everywhere, you know. And whether you like that or not, you know, it's true, you know. He might someone was asking me, like, what other show would I like to see my character in? And I said all of them, you know, because they all need guns, you know. And I would like to be the single gun runner, you know, in all those shows, even the Black Panther. Hey. So he's gonna need some guns. You know, there's guns in Africa. You know, there's guns in Africa. So Diamondback is flexible in the sense that I think he can go anywhere, because anywhere in this world there's guns. You can say that's a shame, and you can say that's, you know, whatever you can say about it, but it's the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.